Hello everyone, welcome to the Infosectrain. My name is Ayush and I will be your instructor for this entire session. In this particular session, we are going to discuss interview question specifically on AWS. I am not only going to discuss question answer, but also I will explain the concept so that you don't have to cram these answer. If you learn the concept, then you can easily address interview question and as well as you can structure your own answer. Define reserved instances. So team, reserved instances are a discount billing notion in which business can receive massive discount compared to the standard on-demand cloud computing prices in an account for committing to a specified level of users. Okay, so let me explain in detail. First of all, on-demand instance are the instance that you launch by default. By default means when you are launching an instance, you are not selecting which type of instance you are launching, then it will come under on demand. And on demand, you are asking AWS, please launch an instance and I will be going with pay as you go pricing. Pay as you go pricing means I am launching this instance and I will be paying per hour basis, right? So reserved instances are not physical instances, but rather than a billing discount applied to the use of on-demand instances in your account. And these on-demand instances must match certain attributes such as instance type and region in order to benefit from the billing discount. Now, in reserve instances, we have term commitment. So you can purchase a reserved instance for 1 year or 3 year commitment. The bigger the commitment, bigger will be the discount price. So if you are just going for 1 year, you will be getting a less discount. If you're going for 3 years, then you would be getting a massive discount. And there is one more thing, team. Reserved instances do not renew automatically when they expire. You can continue using the EC2 instance without interruption, but you are charged on demand rates. And if we talk about payment option, there are like three payment option: all upfront, second one is partial upfront, and third option is no upfront. All upfront means that you are ready to pay on priority. It means that you are just ready to pay before using all these things. It means that you want an instance to run for 24/7 for 3 years. So for that 3 years, you are paying on a first day. Okay. If we talk about partial upfront, a partial upfront, in this you paid a little bit cost in the upfront and you just ask AWS that I will pay after using it, right? And in no upfront, it means that you are not paying anything upfront. You will be paying after using the resources. Now, if you go for like all upfront, then you will be having a huge discount. If you will go for partial discount, then you will be having decent discount. For no upfront, then there will be less discount. And in that also we are having offering class. If your computing need change, you might be able to modify or exchange your reserved instances. And it will be depending on classes. So there are like two classes, standard and convertible. If you go for like standard, these provides the most significant discount, but can only be modified. Reserve standard reserved instance can't be exchanged. But if you talk about convertible, these provide a lower discount than standard reserved instances, but can be exchanged for another convertible reserved instances with different instance attributes. And convertible reserved instances can also be modified. Okay, so now team, moving on to the next question. How will you define CloudWatch and mention its type? So CloudWatch is a tool in Amazon Web Service that helps you monitor your organization's different resources. If you're just using different resources like instances, buckets, so you can just monitor using CloudWatch. And you can take a look at various things like health application network using CloudWatch. And if we talk about CloudWatch homepage, automatically displays metrics about every AWS service you use. You can additionally create custom dashboard to display metrics about your custom application and display custom collections of metrics that you choose. You can create alarms that watch matrices and send notification or automatically make change to the resources you are monitoring when a threshold is breached. For example, you can monitor the CPU uses, disk reads and writes of your Amazon EC2 instances, and then use that data to determine whether you should launch additional instances to handle increased load. You can also use this data to stop underused instances to save money. With CloudWatch, you gain system-wide visibility into resource utilization, application performance, and operational health. And there are like two types of CloudWatches. First one is essential, second one is detailed monitoring. If you go for essential monitoring, it is just free of cost and it is automatically enabled. But when you go for detailed monitoring, for like some services, it also incurs charges. To use it for an AWS services, you must choose to activate it. Now team, moving on to the next question. Mention the CloudWatch metrics available for the EC2 instances. So these are the metrics available for EC2 instances: disk reads, CPU utilization, network packets out, network packets in, CPU credit usage, disk writes, and at last network out. Now, what are the minimum and maximum size of the individual objects you can store in S3? So the minimum size of object you can store in S3 is 0 byte, and the maximum length object that you can save is 5 TB. And team, please make a note that it is 5 TB, not 5 GB. Most of the people get confused and say why AWS or Amazon has limit of 5 GB. Okay, so it's not 5 GB, it's 5 TB. Your whole laptop is of 1 TB. So one into your 5 laptops, it's that much bigger object you can save. So it doesn't mean that total amount of 5 TB you can upload is completely wrong. It means that a single object of 5 TB can be saved at a time. And one more thing, why AWS just mentioned 5 TB? The reason is that the bigger the file, there is lot of chances of getting corrupted. So by doing experiments and by seeing like long time before how things are working, so they have just come to the decision that we should make this object size up to 5 TB. Cool. Now let's move on to the next question. Introduce the various storage classes available in S3. So the storage classes available in S3 are as follows. The first class we are having, that is Amazon S3 standard. So this class is used for general purpose and offers high durability, availability, and performance. Object storage for frequently accessed data. So team, here is a key point. It is used for frequently accessed data. S3 standard is appropriate for a wide variety of use cases, including cloud applications, dynamic website, content distribution, mobile and gaming application, and big data analytics. Mainly it is used for general purpose in order to maintain durability, availability, and performance to a higher extent. Its applications are cloud applications, dynamic website, content distribution, mobile and gaming apps, as well as big data analysis or data mining. Now, if we talk about S3 standard infrequent access, so to access the less frequent use data, use S3 standard IA. It requires rapid access when needed. You can achieve high strength, high output, and low bandwidth by using S3 standard IA. It is best in storing the backup and recovery of data for a long time. It acts as a data storage for disaster recovery files. And whenever you are just recovering any file, you need to pay a smaller amount for retrieval. So in this case, you have to pay a retrieval fee. If we talk about Amazon One Zone infrequent access, so one zone infrequent access, it means that little bit different from other S3 storage classes, which store data in minimum of 3 availability zone. S3 one zone infrequent access store data in a single availability zone and cost 20% less than S3 standard IA. It is a very good choice for storing secondary backup copies of on-premises data or easily recreatable data. Cool team. Now, let's talk about Amazon S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval. It is an archival storage class that delivers the lowest cost storage for data archiving, and it is organized to provide you with the highest performance and with flexibility. S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval delivers the fastest access to archive storage, same as in S3 standard data retrieval in millisecond. Now, if we talk about Amazon S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval, so it provides low cost storage compared to S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval. It is suitable solution for backing up data so that it can be recovered easily a few times in a year. It just takes minutes to access the data. And you can put a request for like minutes to hour, but you know that if you just put request for few minutes, you will be charged high retrieval fee. But if you just bigger the time for retrieval, less will be the retrieval fee. Now, at last, we have Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archiver. So this storage class is designed to provide long-lasting and secure long-term storage for large amounts of data at a price that is competitive with off-premises tape archival service that is very cheap. You no longer need to deal with expensive service. Accessibility is very much efficient. Restore data within 12 hours. It means that there will be a retrieval time of at least 12 hours. This storage class is designed in such a way that user can easily get long lasting and more secure storage for a huge amount of data at a very less cost. So if you are having bulk codes and if you want to go for deep archival, it means that you need it like there will be a retrieval time of 12 hours. Then if you're good with all these things, then you can go for Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archival. So these were the classes that we have discussed, but there is something else that is called as Amazon S3 Intelligent Tiering. That is not mentioned here, but team, let me explain what is Amazon S3 Intelligent Tiering. So this is the first cloud storage automatically decreases the user storage cost. Okay, so this cloud storage automatically decreases the user storage cost. It means that it helps you to decrease the storage cost. It provides very cost-effective access based on frequency without affecting other performance. It also manages tough operations. It is used to just see if we talk about S3 intelligent tiering, what it does, it just move your data from one class to another class. It is not a particular class, it's just intelligent tiering. It will just move your data from one class to another class. So for example, if you have placed your data on Amazon S3 standard, so what if you have enabled intelligent tiering, what it will do, it will just move your data from S3 standard to infrequent access storage classes after 90 days. It means that if you're not using a data for 90 days, it will be automatically moved to infrequent access. And then if you're not again using the same data for 180 days, after 180 days, it is moved to the Glacier. So using intelligent tiering, you are just saving storage cost, as well as there will be no retrieval fee that we have to pay for infrequent access and Glacier storage classes. Now team, moving on to the next question. State the methods to encrypt the data in S3. Now available methods for encrypting the data in S3 are mentioned, like client-side encryption, server-side encryption. Then we have server-side encryption, that is KMS. Now, if we talk about client-side encryption, is the act of encrypting your data locally to ensure its security as it passes to the Amazon S3 service. Amazon S3 service receives your encrypted data and it does not play a role in encrypting or decrypting it. So to enable client-side encryption, you have the following option. You can use a key stored, that is AWS KMS, or use a key that is stored within your application. Now, if we talk about server-side encryption, that is S3, then SSE S3 encryption protects data at rest. Then second thing is that Amazon S3 encrypts each object with a unique. As an additional safeguard, it encrypts the key itself with a key that it rotates regularly. And there are no additional fees for using server-side encryption with Amazon S3 encryption, server-side encryption. Now, if we talk about SSE KMS, when you create an object, you can specify the use of server-side encryption with AWS Key Management Service to encrypt your data. This encryption is known as SSE KMS. You can apply encryption when you are either uploading new object or copying an existing object. You can specify SSE KMS using the AWS S3 console or SDKs, or you can also use CLI, that is command line interface. Moving on to the next question, team. How is the pricing of S3 decided? So the pricing of S3 is decided on the basis of data transfer, like whatever data you have transferred from one bucket to another bucket, or your data has been transferred from your bucket to the services. So you have to pay for it. If we talk about storage use, so how much storage you are using, it means that how much data you are storing, like 100 GB, 200 GB, 300 GB. So for that you have to pay. Up to 5 GB in free tier, it is free. So up till 5 GB you can store your data for free when you are in free tier. Then there is number of, so how much number of requests you are getting for bucket and object, for that also you have to pay. Then we have something called as transfer acceleration. Transfer acceleration is nothing but it is used to increase the optimization of transfer of objects. Okay, so if you want to increase the speed all over the world of your objects, so you can use transfer acceleration, and for that you have to pay. Then we have storage management. So in this can go for intelligent tiering. So if you're using that thing also, intelligent tiering, you have to pay for it. Or you are enabling detailed matrices for CloudWatch, then also it will come under storage management, and then you have to pay for it. So let's move to the next question. So does Amazon VPC support the property of broadcast from multicast? No, Amazon VPC does not support the property of broadcast from multicast. So team, if you're getting these type of quick knowledge-based question, then you don't need to explain each and everything. Just answer yes and no. Cool. Now moving on to the next question. How many EIP address does the AWS account? So each AWS account can have 5 elastic addresses by default. And one more thing, team, I would like to add here. If you get allocated a one elastic IP address and you just attach it to an instance. Now, for example, you just terminate the instance or stop the instance and you just forgot to disallocate this elastic IP, then you have to pay for it. But for every account, 5 EIP is free. And but there is a condition. You need to attach this to a running instance. If you have just allocated a EIP and it is not attached to a running instance, then you have to pay for it. Now, moving on to the next question, team. How will you define edge location? So team, edge location is where end users access services located at the AWS. It is a place where actual content is cached for use with CloudFront CDN. A user can define the content being searched at the edge locations. So for this edge location, we can take an example. Edge location can be a data center availability zones, but it's not every time possible that these availability zones are only the edge locations, because edge locations are more in number than availability zones. So edge locations are not a proper location. They will not be having a proper servers, but there will be a some amount of servers, right? It's not the full will be not having full capability, but there will be a small capability. And using edge locations, you can just catch your data all around the world. Now, for example, right now, if I have hosted application in India, and now I have customer all around the world, US, Australia, and if they want to access my website, then there can be lots of issue like SEO issue. There will be like transaction issues. So there will be lots of issue, and there will be a performance issue as well. So what we are going to do, we're just going to catch these data onto the edge locations. Now, whenever our customer is trying to access that data, it will not be served from my application. It will be served from the edge location, and it will help us, and it will also help us to reduce our load from our application that is hosted in India, right?